Welcome everybody to Corvus Twig's Bird of the Day. I am joined today by the lovely, the beautiful, the sweet and talented eBay Shoujo. And
Hi, chat.
today we're going to talk about a bird. And this morning I was like, what bird should I do today? I'm going to be collaborating with eBay. What bird strikes my fancy? And then I looked at eBay's hair and I'm like, pretty blue. And I was like,
It
what's
is
a bluebird?
blue.
Well, I've done the eastern bluebird. I've done the blue jay. But you know what I haven't done? The indigo bunting. Oh my goodness, look at this bird. It is the indigo bunting.
Yeah. Oh, it's so pretty.
Oh, it's
in
so
blue.
pretty.
Yeah, it is
So
like
pretty.
me.
Yeah, so pretty and blue. So pretty and blue. But, of course, there is a significant thing about the blueness of the birds in this species. Let's just say that you would not have a blue indigo bunting that is a shoujo, as we said.
Really?
You see a blue one of these, it's a male. Only the males got the blue.
Oh,
Only
okay.
the males got the blue. So let me tell you
So
a
what
little
about
bit.
the
We're going to go to the
females?
basic information slide, and we're going to tell you a little bit about them. Well, how big are they? Well, they're about 4.5 to 5.9 inches long, with a 7.1 to 9 inch wingspan. So pretty small bird. You know, a little bit bigger than your finch, but you know, not as big as not as big as a robin. They're actually just a little bit smaller than a cardinal. So you can imagine the size of a cardinal. It's pretty close to what they are. Weighing only 0.4 to 0.75 ounce, not pound, ounce. They don't weigh too much. Yeah. Little birds don't weigh too much. Hollow bones, not a lot of muscle mass. Light hollow feathers. That's how they fly so easily. It's because they weigh nothing. Doesn't take much to get them going when you weigh so little. Yep. Good wing size in comparison to body size and very low body weight. Can it carry a coconut? No, Kyoko. It cannot.
Thanks for the
carry a
hydration.
Oh, no hydration. So, if you see the pictures on the right there.
I see.
Well, that beautiful fella up top there, that's the male. But also quite beautiful, but just not blue on the bottom. That's a female down there.
Yeah. Okay.
So the females have kind of a tannish orange color with a little bit darker brown on their tail and wings. But yeah, I think they're very pretty in their own right. But I mean, come on, you can't go wrong with those bright, vibrant blues. Yeah.
Very true.
Now, the blue on the males also, if you see one in the wintertime, they're not going to look blue. They only look blue in spring and summer. And then they molt those in the fall time, and their thicker winter coats come in, and and it's more of this brown color that the females got. So yeah, the blue is only on the males for a certain time of the year. Now you look at that map down there, you'll see that they like to hang out in a pretty big section of the United States in the summertime, but also, where people actually live in Canada. And then they'll migrate through to southern parts of Florida and through Mexico. And then, yeah, in the wintertime, they like to hang out in the Central Americas and the Caribbean. I mean, can you blame them? I mean, I'd like to spend a winter in the Caribbean. Sounds pretty nice to me.
Yeah, perfect vacation.
Yeah.
I do have a question. I have one question.
Oh, of course, of course.
Would they make good pets?
No.
Why not?
Very few birds make for good pets. These are wild birds. They do not thrive well in captivity. Their instincts and mannerisms do not suit well for being inside of a cage. Their intelligence level does not let them adapt to those kind of things. So, although they are very nice and sweet birds, they belong best in the wild.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I will just admire them.
Yep. That's the thing, is that you can still lure them to your yard with some bird seeds, and you can admire them in the wild. You don't need to keep them in captivity. Now, if you notice there, of course, I did mention that they are passerine birds, but they are in the family of Cardinalidae. So that means that their closest relatives are cardinals. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, very closely related to the cardinal. How about that? All right.
The more you know.
Now let's go into some more interesting information about them. Now, here's an interesting fact. Their feathers are not actually blue. You're like, they look pretty blue to me. Well, here's the thing.
They do look blue.
The thing is that in terms of pigmentation, So it's like a lot of birds get their color from like they eat foods, and that actually changes the pigment
Oh, like
of the feather.
flamingos.
Yeah, like flamingos, if they eat a lot of red food in their diet, it'll
Mm-hmm.
actually have pigmentation change in their feathers and turn them a darker, red color and pink colors instead of just being white. And that's the case
Hmm.
with so many other birds. Is like they actually have pigments in their feathers that make them appear whatever color it is. But for some reason, blue pigmentation is not found anywhere in the bird world. If you see a blue bird, what it is it's actually a hollow iridescent structure in the feather that when the light hits it reflects only the blue light. So rather than a blue
Mm.
pigmentation, it's a blue refraction through the iridescence that makes it appear blue, which honestly I think that's pretty sweet. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so that's true for the indigo bunting, but it's also true of blue jays, bluebirds, and um, and interestingly enough, if you look for it, in certain lighting conditions at certain times of year when the sun hits them just right, in a
Hmm.
photograph, a crow can appear blue.
Really?
Really,
That's
it's
interesting.
really
I
neat.
want to see a blue crow. Is there pictures of that?
Yeah, you do Google search for blue crow and you'll see it come up. But
Sweet. All right.
so one interesting thing about these birds is that, before the colonizers came over, the population was actually lower than it is now. Because it turns out that these birds actually thrive in areas where, like, they don't do as good in thick woods. They do better in, like, lightly wooded areas. So, like,
Mm.
suburban areas where it's like you got a couple trees in a yard here and there, but it's really not significantly thickly wooded, but also not really prairie land either. That's actually where they thrive, and they're very good in suburban environments. So their population is actually higher now than it was in the
Mm.
pre-colonial times. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And this is a rare kind of passerine bird where they have a special name for a group of them, and a group of these friends is called a decoration. You have a decoration of
Oh,
buntings, and
I
it's kind of
love
fun.
that. That's so
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, a decoration of buntings. Um, and another interesting thing is these birds migrate, but only at night. Only at nighttime. Nighttime migration. So they
Why at
use the
night?
stars and they look at. So it's like they
Oh.
think that they recognize like the constellations and like the North Star and stuff like that, and so they go. It's like, oh, okay, well that constellation's in the south, so we're gonna go follow that
Mm.
in the fall. And another way, it's like that's pretty sure that the ornithologist thing they're doing, but yeah, they only migrate at nighttime. But another nice thing for migrating at nighttime is when it's darker out, especially since they rely on the iridescence to be the bright blue, they're much more difficult to see at night, so they're much more protected from predators. So yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
smart.
yeah,
Yeah.
very smart, very smart.
I think that's a very smart. Well, I hear some animals they use the stars to, like, navigate or figure out where they need. I think that's really like really out there, like really clever or smart of these animals. Cause like I can't even do that. Like what? How do animals just like know or just like, hey, okay, this is here. I'm gonna go over there later.
Yeah, and when they look up, the like they don't see Orion the Hunter, they don't see a Big Dipper, they don't see a Sagittarius. No, they're like that's that constellation is the bird. And that constellation
Mm.
is also the bird. And that constellation over there, it's a bird. All the constellations are birds.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Well, you said these aren't like very smart birds, right? But like,
No, no, I mean,
yeah.
most small passerine birds are like
Mm-hmm.
corvids are kind of the exception as far as passerine birds for intelligence. Uh, that's one of the really things that differentiates corvids from other passerine birds is that
Ah,
corvids are
okay.
by far the smartest in the order. I mean, these birds are, I wouldn't say they're dumb, but they're
Mm-hmm.
just, they're just kind of average bird brain intelligence. I mean, they're certainly smarter than
Mm-hmm.
a chicken or, God forbid, a seagull. Actually, I mean, I gotta admit, seagulls are actually kind of smart, but as far as birds go,
Pretty pog.
I can't, that doesn't mean I have to
Mm-hmm.
like them. Nah, But anyway, one really interesting thing about them is that their songs actually they differ greatly from region to region. And they actually found that it's almost like down to like neighborhoods, like in small areas.
Ah.
And the young males learn what kind of songs to sing by listening to the older males in the area in which they grew up. But of course, there's going to be slight mixing from here and there. So it's like no two Buntings have the same song, but their songs are going to be more similar. It's kind of like just a big giant game of telephone. And so it's like
Mm.
one that's, maybe hanging out over in Missouri, their songs are going to sound very different from populations over in like Vermont. And yes, that's kind of neat. They vary their songs because they don't just naturally have a song. They learn their songs by listening, and so that causes great variation. I think that's pretty cool. It's like they
That
got
is
their own
pretty
little
cool.
regional dialects and stuff like that. That's cool. That's
Mhm.
real cool. That's real cool. But
Mhm.
then when it comes to reproduction, they do 3 to 4 eggs per clutch. And they're going to do that once or twice a year. So if they have an early clutch and it goes well, or actually if it goes really badly, they might try a second one. And the males don't really do any incubating or feeding of the babies, but they do stick around and, protect the ladies and the babies. Kind of like the magpie, but not quite as swoopy as the magpie.
I
They'll sing their
see.
song, and the song will be "Stay away, other birds." And they'll swoop at other birds and stuff if they get too close. If if maybe a crow perhaps got a little too close to the nest, these little
You
birds would
wouldn't
be
do
like, "Get out of
that.
here!" No, I wouldn't do that. I would never. I would
Uh
never.
huh.
I
Uh
would
huh.
never. I don't eat other birds except chickens and turkeys.
Those are the only exceptions. Yummy.
Look, it's okay to eat galliforms and enteriforms. If you're wondering what those are, galliforms are landfowl, which includes, turkeys, pheasants, chickens, and
Hmm.
enteriforms are waterfowl. So it's okay to eat ducks and geese and. Although I don't think I would eat a swan. I don't know if I'd eat a swan.
What about a duck?
A duck? I have eaten duck.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious, tasty duck.
Yummy. Yummy.
Yeah.
Yummy. Yummy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
my final thoughts on the Indigo Bunting. I like them. I think they're pretty neat little birds.
Me
Pretty
too. I
interesting.
love. Yeah, I love like the. Like over here, his feathers look really puffed. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I love
Well,
them. They're
and
cute little birds.
you're looking at this fella here, and it seems like, oh, well, he's got much dark, richer blue up near his head, and it kind of goes to
Oh,
more of a
true.
cyan color near the tail. Well, the thing is that's just because of the camera angle. If like we swung it around, it might
Mm-hmm.
suddenly appear the opposite because of the way that the light is reflecting off of his feathers. So, yeah, just iridescence, blueness through iridescence. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. See, what I think
Pretty
needs to
cool
happen,
too.
I don't know if you know about the bowerbirds, but they build like little nest display areas to impress the ladies. What the bowerbirds need to do is just call over some of his bunting friends and be like, "Hey, can you hang out here and like, be a wingman for me while I try and impress this lady because she likes blue objects and oh, you're so blue." I think it could definitely help out
Drink some
the
water.
bowerbirds. Oh, we gotta drink
So
some
did the
water.
lady falls in love with the bluebird? Ooh.
Oh, you're right. That could backfire. Yeah. You never want to bring a wingman that the lady might fall for instead. That could be bad.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And now Bentai is asking if I put enough of them in a mold, could it be a bunting cake? And with that, we're gonna call this bird of the day done. Ah. Or as Hasio saying, they're blue, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die. Okay,
I think they're cool birds.
I
I
think they're
like
pretty
them.
cool birds. I like them, and they do appear in my region, although they're not very common in my region. Definitely gonna keep an eye out for them, though. A little harder to spot this time of year because now is the time of year where they're shedding off those blue feathers and getting those brown ones and getting ready to take a trip to Mexico.
Mm. Mm. I would love to take a trip to Mexico. Oh,
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to be this bird now.
You want to be this
That's
bird?
it.
Well,
Mhm.
if you wanna, there's so many VTubers.
I could
that
just
haven't-
say, hey, well, I am a take on the form of any dreams of every girl. So
Oh.
if any girl out there wishes for me to be like this bird, I'll be like, hey, I'm this bird now.
Although to be fair, eBay, if you're gonna pick a bird to be, maybe you should pick one where the females have blue
Oh, true.
pigmentation. So
Okay.
maybe we go with the blue jay because they're really smart. You're really smart, and they have blue feathers and you have blue hair. So yeah, you can be a blue jay. You can be a blue jay.
Yeah, I'll be a blue jay. I forgot that this like type of bird is male. Like, damn it.
Blue jay shoujo.
All
All right.
Blue jay
Well,
shoujo.
we're gonna call this bird of the
it.
day done. So we'll see y'all later, and we're gonna get back to some Fall Guys.